Madhuri, it's so lovely to have you back on the big screen again.
Thank you.
It's really, you look, of course, gorgeous.
Thank you.
Tell me what exactly has happened. Like, we didn't see you for 4 years, and now it's of course bucket list. It's also Kalank. It's also Total Dhamal. What has happened?
You know, there are times when you just want to pause, and you have kids, you have other responsibilities, you want to make sure you're there for them. And it's never that, you know, you're just sitting and not doing anything. It's like there's so many things other than acting and being in films, and so got a little occupied with that. And when I thought it was the right time to, you know, do movies again and, you know, experiment, and so that's when I decided, okay, now let's start working again.
You know, when I saw you, you know, of course, all the TV shows, and I always, you know, you are so fabulous. You're such a fine dancer. You're such a fine actor. I always wondered, I was like, maybe Bollywood just doesn't know what to do with her. Is that true?
I know you said that to me the last time we met. No, I don't think it's as much that, but I don't know what it is. I think the decision to take a pause was completely mine. It's not that there were many scripts I read. There were many things I was doing during that time. I even did my album, which will release somewhere in this year. I was busy in a different way, you know, during these 4 years. But this script came to me, Bucket List, and it just inspired me. I thought, you know, this is a film I should do now.
Just grabbed you.
And just grabbed me. And because it's a very, very relatable story about a housewife and who's so involved with whatever's happening with her kids, her husband, her in-laws. She's looking after everyone. She's so lost in, you know, looking after the family that she loses herself, her own identity in the whole process. You know, things happen in her life, and she finds this bucket list, and she feels that it's her responsibility to complete it now. And in that journey, you know, she finds herself again. And somewhere I think every housewife goes through that. So I thought it's a very relatable script, and I loved her journey, and I loved the humor in the film, and I loved the just a very joyous film, you know. So I thought I should do this.
And then once you signed that, did you sort of feel like excited about movies and then sign the others as well?
Well, it so happened that during that time when I was doing Bucket List, Induji approached me for Total Dhamal, and I heard the script, and it's a mad caper, and I haven't done a comedy in a long time. And so I thought this would be a great film to do as well, because of course there's Anil in the movie and there's the whole star cast, and it is a total Dhamal film. And I thought, oh, I would love to dig my, you know, teeth into this one. So then I decided to do that, and then Kalank happened, and, you know, so it just kind of just grew after that.
And now the pause is done. Now you're fully into doing movies.
Yes.
You've never sort of felt comfortable. Are you still scared before going in and giving a shot?
No, I feel very comfortable in front of the camera. My only challenge is, am I doing it differently? Am I doing it how the director has envisioned this role to be? So we discuss a lot, you know, and when I'm in front of the camera, then I'm trying to think of all the things that we have discussed and how this character should behave in that particular scene. And so, you know, those are the challenges.
And it's still exciting? Are you still
Yes,
completely in love with it?
Absolutely.
You know, Alia had told me that it's like a marriage. Some days are good and some days are bad, but you never fall out of love in that sense. Is that what it's like?
Absolutely. I mean, she's bang on. Yeah, if you really think about it, because this is a love affair that's been going on with the camera and, you know, us for a very long time, and it's like, you know, you're trying different ways to kind of capture the camera, you know, capture its attention, and trying out different things, trying different roles, because you also have to feel challenged to do something. If you're doing the same kind of thing again and again, I think it gets boring for us also and for people to watch.
But Madhuri, the demands of stardom today are very different from what they were when you first began. Do you find it easy to adjust? Has it been difficult?
No, it's not been difficult. I think it's easier now than it was.
Really?
Yeah.
In what way?
In the way of personal comfort, in the sense when we used to do outdoors, we never had vans and we never had these, we just had to go with whatever weather, we just sitting in the, you know, in the sun, or there were a lot of hardships in that sense. But today,
Physical hardships.
Physical hardships. And today it's like much easier. Your scripts are ready. You know every dialogue you're going to say in the film. Everything is worked out, from your look to what your makeup is going to be in a particular scene. And so in that sense, you know, everything is very organized. It's not disorganized as it used to be. But of course, we still made you know, good films spontaneously then. And today it's all planned, and hopefully we are still making good films.
But do the other sort of demands, because stardom now is, you know, actors now talk about themselves as brands. And stardom is bigger than just what you do on screen. There's also the social media aspect, which is massive. There's appearances and events. And does all of that ever get to you, or do you enjoy it?
To a certain extent, I do enjoy it. I enjoy social media a little bit because you kind of hear what people are thinking, you know, you hear it. It's a gateway to address your fans directly, not some magazine who's going to write something, and you know, it's not a roundabout way. If there's something you want to clear, you just put it out there, and it's there in the universe. The only difficult thing is when you're promoting your movies. I think that's the only new
It's very
avenue
intense.
that I say. It's very intense. You know, I'm not someone who kind of stays back from intensity or whatever. Whatever needs to be done, you do it.
Do you ever struggle to balance the artist in you with these demands, with ki boomerang bhi karna hai, or ek look bhi you have to pose for the fashion ye or nay picture? Is all of it, does it ever take away from the artist?
No, I don't think so. I don't
You
think
can keep
takes
it,
away.
you can keep the sanctity
It's
of
up
that.
to you, because it's up to you how much you want to do. You know, it's not that you have to do it and you have to do this and you have to do that. There are no rules, right? So you do it when you feel like doing it. If you don't feel like doing it, don't do it.
But you don't feel the pressure because there's so much social media and everybody's on it all the time?
No, I personally have never felt the pressure.
No.
People around me feel it. Ma'am, you haven't tweeted in a long time. You should tweet something, you know. And I understand that. But some days are there when you can't tweet, and that's fine. I mean, you don't have to get bothered with that. I don't get bothered with that.
Tell me, you know, of course, all the male contemporaries who you started out with or worked with much earlier are all sort of, you know, having these blazing careers, all the Khans, Anil. The truth is that there's just not that many great roles for women of any age, right? So what do you think might be a solution? Should actresses look sort of more actively at producing themselves, you know, taking charge of their own narrative? Is that an option?
Well, I think today roles are being written for women. You see Tumhari Sulu, you see Razi now, which has just released. There's so many films which are very woman-centric without being stereotypes.
Stereotype, sure.
Stereotypes.
Yeah.
There's no stereotypes
Yeah.
today. I mean, women are women, and they're treated as such in the movies. Their characters are written as such. When you see Tumhari Sulu, she's playing a RJ, and you know, whatever she has to go through, her own process. So it's not, because initially when you talked about a woman-oriented film, it used to be like an Avenger or someone who's like a victim and then she takes a stand. It's not like that. They are ordinary women, everyday life women, which are being portrayed on screen. So I think it's a great time for women to be in cinema. Yes, I mean, even Hollywood has its own issues with women-oriented scripts, but have you seen Ocean's 8, which is going to come now? And
it looks crackling.
It is crackling. So and there's another movie, our Indian, Veere Di Wedding, and you know, so movies are being made where women are like the center, and yet they are just women. They're not like pushed into some slot.
So you don't ever feel frustrated as an actor about the quality of scripts that you're being offered?
I have been offered quite varied kind of scripts, and I have not been like disappointed. You know, there have been some very...
There's enough meat there.
Yes, yes.
You know, I was talking to Rani about Hichki, and I was...
Yeah, that's another film.
That's another film, yeah.
Yeah.
So she said that it's important to her how it does, because it's important to know whether the audience still wants to see you on screen or not. And my counter was, but you're beyond now box office, you're beyond the rat race. Why should it matter? Should you not just do any roles that excite you? How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel you should do any role that excites you, because you're beyond, I mean, there's nothing left to prove, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing left to prove. What is left to be proven is whether you can handle different kind of roles.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do now.
So you're completely sort of zen-like about the box office. You don't really kind of worry about what's
Well,
going to
it's
happen.
wonderful when women-centric movies do well, because then more get made.
Yeah.
Yahan bhed chal hai. Everybody just follows a trend, and when something like that works, it gives other people more confidence to make their product. Not that, oh God, this didn't do well, so maybe we should keep this script back and make something else. So it gives them that encouragement. It makes them very secure in the knowledge that if we make this film, made it right, and it can still run and people will still watch it.
So
that's
you're
the
coming
only
at
thing
it
about the box office.
You're coming at it from that point of view.
Yes.
Do you care, Madhuri, about your image, about whether you can play a certain type of character? Do you worry about those things at all anymore?
No, I'm never worried about that.
Not even earlier?
Never, because I did so many roles. I did a beta, I did a Dil, and then I did a Mrityu Dand after having so many commercial successes, which was like, oh, you're a commercial actress, you should not be. It's an art film. That's what everybody told me. And I said, doesn't matter. It's a role, and I want to play that role. And it's such a good film, and the maker is so good, the director is so good. And I would like to do it. And मैंने जिद से की वो film actually.
Really?
Yeah, I did it. And I don't regret it, because it was a beautiful role I got to portray as Ketki.
So you've always taken those risks and you're open to doing pretty much anything now?
Yeah, I mean, I did a Gulab Gang in which I was like on harness, I was fighting and I was doing all, because it gave me an opportunity to, yeah, exactly. And then there was De Dishkia, which had its little intonations and little con going on up there. And I thought it was very cleverly written.
It was.
Yes. And so
and very edgy in what it suggested.
Very edgy, yes. So yeah, and I want to try, I want to do every kind of role there is out there.
Would you be open to playing something really negative and dark?
Yeah, why not? If it's very challenging, I'll do it.
I read this, I came across this interview that Shah Rukh gave, I think in like 2006 to Filmfare, where he said he called you the most solid man in the industry. He said, she has solid believability, she's solid emotionally, she's the only person I feel I'm not as good as.
I think he's being very modest when he says that. He's being very generous. And no, and I don't know why a woman should be called a man.
Exactly, as a compliment. Yes, yeah. Of course.
Because
I think he meant well.
Yeah, no, I love Shah Rukh Khan, don't get me wrong. And we are on very, very good terms, and we have like this mutual admiration society going on. But what I'm trying to say is that women are women. I mean, they're always strong, they're always stoic. And even where family is concerned or the kids are concerned, it's always the woman who keeps the thread, keeps the whole necklace going, where she's the thread that binds everyone together. And that's her role. So she has to be strong, she has to be stoic, she has to be very clear in her mind. And that's nothing surprising.
But what was it like then to read these things about yourself?
It was very nice. It was very sweet of him to say that, because what he was trying to say is that maybe he was just trying to say that she's very solid. I mean, she just believes. If she believes in something, she's going to do it. And I don't look back, I don't regret, I don't second guess myself. Once I have decided to do something, I just go ahead and I do it to the best of my ability, Whether it's being just at home with my kids or husband. If I say, okay, I want to take a break, I'll just take a break for a few. If I want to come back, I'll come back with that much fervor and, confidence and everything. So maybe that's what he meant.
So despite the sort of fame and glory that you've enjoyed for so many decades, you're fairly detached. You can sort of say, no, this is not what I want right now, and go to something else.
Because I'm attached to something else at that point. I'm thinking of something else at that point.
No, but it's not easy to do, Madhuri, and you've done it. You walked away, you went to Denver. It's not easy to walk away from, it's so seductive.
Yeah, because it's not the end all for me. There's
and it's
life,
never been.
It's never been. I feel life is much larger than, just being insecure about things and being in the movies. There's so much more to life. And all these experiences teach you to be a better actress. Yeah. When you're doing other things and you're exploring other things, you're experiencing so many different emotions in your own life, and all those things kind of contribute to you as an actor in front of the camera.
So when you look back on all those films that you've done and these award-winning performances, which are the ones where you look at yourself and you can say to yourself, I really got that right? Are there any?
Yeah, there are a lot of movies like that.
Which are the ones where you have impressed yourself?
I don't know. It's never like, oh, I'm so impressed with myself. I've never looked at a movie like that. I just felt, yeah, I got the character right, or oh, I got that scene right. And in that sense, I think because I did Mrityudan at a point when everybody was like, you're a commercial actress and all that. And when I did Ketki, it was just freeing me. I don't know how to, what word to use there, but it was, I felt like, I could just play a character without having any sort of rigid kind of rules from, no, you're a heroine, so you have to do it in this particular way, and so I really enjoyed doing that.
That was the one that still stands the test of time for you?
Yeah, where performance is concerned, absolutely.
And do you miss all that dancing? Because now everybody is like, nahi, lip sync gaane nahi hone chahiye. Everybody's into reality. And I was like, yeah, those were like lovely.
Well, there will be movies which will be made that way. You cannot, I mean, Bollywood is about song and dance. Yes, it is. And we are making films which are otherwise too, especially Marathi movies. They're so content driven and they're so beautiful. They're taking different kind of subjects and making them with so much conviction that, and even the audience is ready to accept that. I think song and dance movies will always be made. That there'll always be, because that's Bollywood.
Yeah. That's how I see it.
Yes,
like there
absolutely.
has to be. I mean, I miss it if it's not there.
See, even when a musical is made in Hollywood, look at the kind of response it gets. Like La La Land or Chicago, or there are few and made there. But when they are like they just engulf everyone.
Yeah. Are you a very different person from the person who first started here?
I think I'm different in only one way, that when I started, I was very young. And I had not seen, like I had not experienced life, it was like I was just from one studio to another to another.
I remember you and me, we used to discuss pimple remedies.
Yes.
You remember that? We would say, what are you using?
ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि कुछ ऐसा आ जाए कि तो कुछ ऐसा हो जाए. Yeah. So those worries were very different. What I'm trying to say is that I think after I got married is when I actually experienced life, and I went out there and I did some things that I'd never done before, experienced the outdoorsy kind of life which my husband is very fond of, and meet people in a very different circumstances, and not because you're a star and you're there and then you're meeting people where they have seen you on screen a lot, and you always feel, how do they think of me, like
what's
they see
real
me on screen, what's real, So I got to do all that, and it just expands you, as an actor, or your experiences just make you. And I think in that sense, I have changed a lot.
I remember you telling me that you normally would not dress up to go out, and that in Denver, and when you're going grocery shopping and you haven't done your hair and all, inevitably
you're going to run into fans.
Some Indians would come and say, Madhuri, dekhiye.
And I would be like oiled hair and just in my tracks, and just trying to be like very, very normal that day, and that's the day you meet people. But that's fine, because you're human after all.
But it's such an amazing story, and I'm so excited that we might get to see it on television. Is that happening with Priyanka?
Well, TV is a different medium. It's not like films that once you script, everything is done and approved, let's go. So there are a lot of loops you have to jump through. So it's churning, I would say, right now.
Well, it's very exciting. And tell me, what do you want people to take away from Bucket List?
Well, it's the journey of this woman who has completely lost herself, immersed herself in her family. And what happens is people around you also start taking you for granted, and they are like, but she doesn't want anything, she doesn't need anything. But you are an individual, you have to have something that is you. And that's what happens to this woman, and she discovers herself, she finds that voice. It's not that she's unhappy in her life, it's just that extra something that you need in your life to make it sparkle again. And people around you, even in the movie, that people around her like change their perspective, the way they look at her becomes very different, because she's different now. And so that's I thought was a wonderful thing about bucket list, and I would want every woman to feel that way, that they should have some time for themselves. They should have some individuality, something that they can fall back on. Because what happens is kids grow up, they go to school, colleges, and whatever, and the husband is busy in their work, the in-laws are busy with their own circle, and suddenly the woman feels like, oh my God, it's empty. That emptiness should not come, because you should have something, some sparkle for yourself as well.
Sounds lovely. Madhuri, can't wait to see it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So lovely talking to you.
So lovely too. If you like the video, please subscribe to Film Companion and log on to filmcompanion.in.